got Halsey?
Yes, I was a green dot. I was a green dot in this previous year and the year before that. So my sophomore and junior year.
Like if we're on the clock and we're still debating who we're taking, it's a little late.
Here, Indiana move. We from Indiana move. We from Indiana move. I'm an Indiana move.
Touchdown! I-N-D-Y! And he lost the ball. There's a fumble. Who's got it? The officials say the Colts do. Great team win, baby! Drops it way downfield, intercepted, coming forward and making the INT for the Colts in the back end. To see the Colts win Super Bowl. Hey, win on three. 1, 2, 3, win!
Welcome back to the channel. This is Marcus Sniffles, and we're here to talk about a few things, but the first thing I kind of want to talk about is, the last video we did was about recapping the NFL draft, and I kind of just wanted to get y'all's opinion and thoughts on the draft itself, like the actual viewing experience. Like, I don't like to watch the NFL draft. Like, I just don't find it entertaining or to be like a good TV product. Like, and it's not just the NFL draft, it's the NBA draft, it's the WNBA draft, it's drafts in general. Just, it's not good TV or entertaining to me. Like, that doesn't mean I don't follow the draft. Like, obviously, I have it on my phone, I'm doing other things, and I keep track of the draft, but like actually sitting down to watch the draft, it just doesn't entertain me the way that I would need it for me to sit down for 3 hours a day during the draft process. Like, it's not doing it for me anymore. And maybe, before when I was younger and I had way more free time, I would sit and watch all the rounds of the draft. But now with, the advent of, social media, TikTok, Netflix, all these streaming platforms, better video games, it's just like, do I want to sit down and just watch the NFL draft, or do I want to, passively track the NFL draft while I'm watching my favorite TV show or a movie or playing a game or on TikTok or something else? And I think one of the main things that annoys me about the draft and why I don't like watching it is how long some of the picks take. The number one overall pick, you should not be on the clock. The NFL draft should open and Roger Goodell should immediately announce who the first pick is. And honestly, the second pick should be the same exact way, because if there's like the consensus number one overall pick, this number two team that's drafting should already know who they're going to take, because they know Fernando Mendoza is going number one. So you can just go ahead and we know who we're getting. So we don't have to sit on the clock the entire time. We've already spoke to teams about, oh, do you want to trade up? Do we want to trade back? All that stuff should be figured out before the draft. And for teams that are going, for the rest of the teams in the draft, do you not have your draft board prepared? Do you not have like contingency plans for what needs to happen if this player is taken, or if this team trades out, or if this team calls for you to trade down? Are you not prepared for the draft? Like, you have months and months to prepare for the draft. Do you need the full clock to pick a player? I don't know. Like, and I will say, for full transparency, I think the last draft I watched was the 2024, the Anthony Richardson draft. Like, I watched that draft after pick number 2, because we were coming up, and I guess it's more of a thing where we haven't really had like a high first round pick in a long time. So the idea of just watching that and seeing that was okay. And I kind of wanted to see what the Cardinals would do at 3. And they, obviously they traded that pick to Houston and we were able to get Anthony. So that was probably the last draft. And even after that pick, I turned the draft off and I went back to doing whatever I was doing and, following the team in that way. But what are we waiting for? Like, speed this thing up. There's got to be a way to speed the draft up. Like, know who you have, know what your board looks like, know who you're going to get, know who you like, know who you don't like, and speak with teams ahead of time. Like, and that's one thing. Like, Chris Ballard was on with Rich Eisen, and he pretty much said the same thing. Like, we have our board set before the draft. We've spoken with teams prior to the draft about the idea of them making a trade, trading up or trading back. So it's not a thing where we need 15 minutes to figure this whole thing out. Like, let's get this thing moving. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys something. About 90% of you guys that watch this video are not subscribed to the channel. Don't be a weirdo. Subscribe to the channel. Don't be part of the 90%. Be a part of the 10%. And let's get that 10% to 90%. So 90% of you guys that are watching are actually subscribed. That will help me out a lot. Cost you nothing. It's free and I'd appreciate it. Now, obviously, when it comes to the draft, the player that we got, instead of, having our own first round pick, we have Sauce Gardner. I think that's the best player in this draft. Like I don't believe there's going to be any player within the next 2 to 3 years that's going to be as productive or more productive than Sauce Gardner. But it did kind of get me thinking as we move past the draft and, trading that first round pick for Sauce. What would have happened had we not made that trade? Had we just decided to just keep the players that we have? And this is mostly assuming that Ward stays healthy and Wally is healthy, because Wally's going to be the other outside corner with Mooney Ward on the other side and Kenny Moore in the middle with Mekhi Blackmon. So we're like, okay, maybe we don't need to move a first round pick to get Sauce Gardner. If we're in the draft and we have a first round pick and we're sitting at 16, what are the things that we possibly do to make this team better? What do we think Chris Ballard would have done had he had that first round pick? I think the obvious thing that he would have done had he still had that first round pick is trade down, accumulate more picks so you get more players, so you have a better opportunity to build your roster and find players. But when it comes to getting actual players, one of the guys that we probably would have targeted would have been the cornerback Chris Johnson. I believe he's out of San Diego State. Just seeing that we traded a first round pick for Sauce Gardner, we could have got the second drafted cornerback in Chris Johnson. That would have made sense. I think another player that we probably would have gone after was Mekhi Lemon, a wide receiver out of USC. That's pretty much like the perfect replacement for Michael Pittman Jr. They went to the same college and everything. So that's an easy pick. Maybe go with the defensive end, Malachi Lawrence. That could have been a solid pick. That's one of those, like, you trade down, you can get him. A thing that I would have been curious to see happen had we kept the 16th pick is the idea of, would Chris Ballard would he have traded up to get Ruben Bain? Because Ruben Bain fell to the pick right before us, or the pick that we would have had. I think if Ruben Bain falls out of the top 10, I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Ballard gets on the phone and try to move up to get him, because as a Miami Hurricanes fan, I would have loved to see Ruben Bain and Latu up on the, both sides of the end. They possibly could have been our version of, Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis, but that's just kind of a pipe dream at this point. I'm still happy with Sauce Gardner. I still think we have a top 5 cornerback on the roster right now, and I think we have 2 top 10 corners. So we lose a first round pick. I would trade a first round pick for a top 5 cornerback any day of the week. You made it this far. If you have not liked the video at this point, what are you waiting for? Just like the video. Hit the like button right now. I'm talking to you. Make sure you like the video and subscribe and drop a comment. All that stuff. This is a threat. Not a threat, a warning. But it could be a threat. Just do it. Heading into this season post-draft, I felt like we had to leave this draft with at least 2 starters. And I think we did that. 2 starters on defense specifically. CJ Allen, AJ Halsey. I think those 2 guys, week 1, will be the starters on the Colts defense. Like, the moment he was drafted, Chris Ballard essentially handed him the green dot, the captain. He's going to be the face of the program. Now, that's literally what Chris Ballard said. And with AJ Halsey at LSU, like, obviously we did bring in a lot of safeties, but when I saw the reaction of the defensive staff when he was drafted and they found out that we got him, they were extremely excited. Like, this is the guy that we want, and this is going to be the guy that is going to fit perfectly in our system. There was conversations about, is Lou Anarumo going to start a rookie on his defense because of how JT Tuimoloau didn't get a lot of playing time last year as a second-round pick. People say that without realizing that Justin Wally was in the starting lineup before he got hurt. I don't think Lou Anarumo has any problem playing rookies on defense, especially if he wants you and if he thinks you're good. The way that Lou Anarumo reacted to the CJ Allen and AJ Halsey draft picks lets me know that he is willing to let those two young guys start. And with them starting, it also opens up, okay, so what are we going to do on defense as far as, okay, the problems with our defense last year was the passing down at the linebacker position. So now it's like, okay, so what are we going to do on passing downs for our linebacker set? We can only put 2 of them out there. You got to assume that CJ Allen is going to be out there. But what about Bryce, I'm going to keep butchering his name, Bryce Bodicher. Hunter Waller was an option out there in training camp. Hakeem Davis-Gaither, Jalen Carlisle, like our linebacker room as far as pass coverage, who are going to be the 2 guys that are out there, or the 1 guy when it comes to the dime package with just 1 linebacker. And even if you step back further on the defense, the safety position, obviously Cam Bynum's going to be out there, and you assume AJ Halsey is going to be out there. But who's going to be that third safety when Lou Anarumo wants to run that scheme where he has like 2 high safeties and then 1 kind of in the box, or 1 high safety and 2 a little bit lower, like 1 super deep safety, and then 2 safeties kind of like in that robber position. Like we brought in Wande Thomas, and we have Jonathan Owens, and then AJ Halsey, obviously. So it's like those are going to be kind of the things that we have to look out for and kind of keep an eye on as far as like, and this is during like training camp and mini camp and things of that nature. What is Lou Anarumo going to do? And did this draft kind of open up his playbook a little bit more? Because now you don't have to worry about having Zaire Franklin and Jermaine Pratt out there who are bad at pass coverage. With the linebackers we have now, the linebackers that we brought in, the 2 rookies that we have in right now are an improvement on our pass defense. We can't really say for sure if they're better run defenders, but overall they cannot be worse than what we had last year at linebacker. And the last thing I'll speak on is when it comes to players, veterans, starters from last year that should be nervous about their starting position or role on the team based on who we brought in as a rookie, I think the whole right side of the offensive line needs to be nervous about Jordan Farmer. I'm talking about the center, Tanner Bornolini, Gonzalez, Jalen Travis. Like, Tony Sperano was very excited to get Jordan Farmer in here. And Jordan Farmer is a SEC big offensive lineman that can play football. Like, he's a really, really good. He gave up like 1 sack last year. Or he only had 1 penalty and gave up like 3 pressures or some crazy number. And with Tony Sperano's coaching ability to make any and every offensive lineman work, especially the rookies, like he can just mold them and develop them into what he wants and what we need. If you're someone like Matt Gonzalez and you have a sprained ankle, how comfortable do you feel saying like, hey, I need a week or 2 off, knowing that Jordan Farmar is right there to take your spot? Or Jalen Travis, if you start out the gate a little bit slow, who's to say that they don't put him out there at tackle? And the same with Bortolini. You know, a couple bad snaps, a couple wrong reads, and all of a sudden Jordan Farmar starting to get a couple more snaps, getting a little bit more playing time, and all of a sudden you've lost your job. So I'm excited to see where they start Jordan Farmar at. He was in college a guard, and post-draft they did talk about him being a guard and playing more inside guard and center. But there's always that opportunity for Tony Sperano to develop him and make him so he can play on the outside and play at tackle. Like, obviously Quentin Nelson he's a stalwart. We're not replacing him. Obviously Bernhard Raimann, the same thing. Like, those 2 guys are solidified. But even with that, Quentin Nelson is getting old. Okay, so this is something that we don't like to think about as Colts fans, but maybe this is the Quentin Nelson heir apparent, the guy that's going to step in for Quentin Nelson when hopefully maybe 5 years when he retires. That's a good long career for an offensive lineman. I feel like Quentin Nelson could play for as long as he wants to and be at bare minimum a Pro Bowl player. But Jordan Farmar is going to challenge and compete for one of these starting spots, and I think it's going to be a little bit close. And if I was that right side of the offensive line, I would be a little bit nervous. But who do you think is going to be the rookie to surprise us and, jump into the starting spot on offense? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. We drop videos every Monday at 7 in the morning. And I'll see you in the next one. Go Colts.
Thanks for watching, babe. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.